Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to Ham Radio Live, where the world comes to talk radio. It's a brand new week to talk radio, gang. Are you ready? Yeah! All right, let's go. We're going to talk about the technician enhancement a little more in detail today, talk about people's opinions as well. Hey gang, Monday, July the 13th, and live from Central Florida. Here we come. By Jay Ferguson, peaked at number 9 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 back in April of 1978. It was a 77 album, but kind of released late, so it did pretty well. Peaked at number 8 in Canada and number 72 on the album chart here in the States. It was released back in October of 1977. And it's actually, you might like this, it's famous for its iconic guitar riffs. Guess who did that? Joe Walsh. Yeah, he did. Our big ham there, W6CAU. Didn't do it fine on Jay Ferguson's single there. What do you say we talk about amateur radio today, and around the world we say away we go. Hi everybody, good to see you. A very happy new week to you. Happy Monday, the 13th day of July, 2026. My name's Larry Dio. My call sign in ham radio is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Welcome back to this little Shangri-La we call Ham Radio Live here. Good to see you guys, and we got a lot to talk about today. I did a video. It was like a little short. A short, not like YouTube shorts are kind of different. They're more like they're done in landscape, not landscape. They're done in like the up and down mode, vertical mode, right? And they're just a short video and that's it. So it's really not technically a YouTube short. But for me, it's short because I do like hour programs here during the week here on YouTube. So, that's what I do. Some people save babies. Some people just try and get people licensed in amateur radio. But anyway, I couldn't believe it, how many people watched that. I was like, wow. It honestly is probably the biggest video I've ever done, and I'm humbled to say that. I don't brag about what I do, and I certainly don't ask for people to subscribe or give me thumbs up or any of that stuff, or the bell, none of that. I don't do that stuff because it's all about a relationship with all of you and hanging out with you. That's the joy. That's the fun for me personally. That's why I don't do that. That's why that little 7-minute, 19-second video didn't one time ask for people to subscribe or, bell that stuff. No, just not me. But I couldn't believe how many people have seen it. And I also couldn't believe the comments. And we'll share some of those comments with you today, which I'm very grateful to do. And you'll see that I'm actually not just including the ones that agree with me, but also the ones that disagree vehemently, absolutely vehemently. One guy, he's like screaming and yelling. You could just tell he's like, everything's in caps. Like, you could tell he's like, tunk, 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 tunk. He's just like livid out there. And, oh, man.
Picked the wrong week. Quit sniffing glue.
I was like, okay, well, hey, some people that's their way. I don't ever get upset about that stuff because everybody's got a right to their opinion. Might not be mine, but that's okay. Don't have to worry about that. By the way, the Jay Ferguson song was on this album here. Doesn't he look all 70s cool right there? This shirt unbuttoned down to like the belly button, show the hairy chest and stuff. Gosh. Jay Ferguson with Thunder Island. Hey, if you'd like to get yourself licensed in amateur radio, we'd love to help you do that. We really would. Contact the American Radio Relay League at www.arrl.org. Just click on the contact part of their page. Tell them you want your ham license and where you live in the world. They'll send back to you local to you ham radio club. Whether you're licensing or licensing up, this is the best way to do it. www.arrl.org, please. Also, we do have some big news coming up here. The Discord channel you can reach us at is ham-radio-live. That's ham-radio-live. Keep in mind, please, that you cannot comment on the show information chat. There's just, that's for us. That's for like myself and the moderators to just keep things clean, as well as make announcements and tell you about stuff going on here. So you can post every place else except for show information chat. That's the one place we just say no. But just remember this too. You have to accept the terms and agreement. That's it. We don't keep that stuff. Nobody sees it. I can tell you that for sure. No one does that. But the Ham Radio Live information channel of the Discord channel is just for all of us, okay? Also, Ham Radio Live website is currently down right now because it's getting some updates and stuff coming. And Rodney, bless his heart, in the Netherlands, Pop Alpha 9 Romeo Whiskey. Can we give Rodney a big applause for a second, please? Thank you. He's done a great job with this. It's a great place for you to get updated information in amateur radio and shortwave. If you like DXing, weather maps are there. I mean, Rodney's done a great job. Made it a super easy and fun place to be on the internet. But please don't go there now because it just won't work. We don't want you to go in a place where you're going to have a problem on it, okay? End of my little bit there. It's good to see you guys. We're happy you're here, and we got a fun show today. In fact, I have a topic question I got to add because that's the one thing I didn't do. I got everything else done. I got a great story for you, Jay, too. But everything else got done. But the one thing I couldn't do was the topic show. So I'm going to do that right here and just change it. In a way, it's going to be changed in a little way. And here is what I want to say, because it's a really important question. I got the topic question already today, but I just didn't get this done. As the music started for the show, I'm like, oh no, there's no topic. We'll fix that. Just a second. How do you feel? Oh gosh, let's try this all over again, shall we? It's not that hard. How do you feel about your radio government agency, right? We'll just kind of put it that way. How do you feel about your governmental oversight taking 8 years to reply for something you need in radio? We're going to make it a little different. It's going to be, how do you feel about your governmental, I don't like that word. I'm just going to make it I'm going to cut to the chase. How about this? How do you feel about the FCC? It's really weird. The FCC taking 8 years to reply to a rule change. Now, insert your own place, like in Europe, right? If you're in the UK, Ofcom. If you're, in the Netherlands or you're someplace else, your own governmental group, how much patience would you have, right? Because to me, 8 years, what's going on? Something weird is happening in the background there because I don't get this. And this is something that has to do with the technician issue. And this is the last day that I promise we'll talk about this. Because to me, this is one of those things that, like, for example, let's say, for example, shortwave, okay, that the area on 30 meters completely, they stopped broadcasting, right? And let's say WWV, the funding for it went away. And so that area around 10 megahertz becomes open now, and you can put voice, maybe 100 kilohertz of voice window up there on 30. And so the FCC is petitioned by the ARRL, which is how it legally happens here. How would you feel about the FCC sitting on that for, like, I don't know, 6 months, a year? Would you, like, be getting a little bit frustrated after 1 year? The technicians have waited 8 years for an answer. I think it's past time they get one. I really do. That's today's topic question around the world. Let us know in the comment section. Let's find out who's first, second, and third and get rolling today. Sorry about that. Yeah, I saw one thing I forgot. First up, you know what? This is amazing because this is the third time in a row that Rodney has actually come in first on this program. And this time he gets yet another customary meep meep for it. Meep meep. Nice job, Rodney. Well done, buddy. Good job. You know, he's got to come out of the Netherlands. He's got to come in first. There's some work there, especially when you got other people trying to do it as well. Second up, same continent, it's Steve, Mike 1 Sierra Delta Hotel. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Second up, continent number 2 is here. It's Bill Myers, our Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India Mike Super first place champion winner. 15 times in a row he's done it. Amazing. Probably a record never to fall. And why would you want it to, right? Bill, hello. Happy Monday. It's good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Jeff joins us from Sherwood, Oregon. Alpha Delta 7 Lima, November. Thank you for being here. Joshua's here, having a little bit of fun. Rob Q in Los Angeles joins us. Hi, Rob. It's good to see you. You rock too. Don't forget, you rock too. And Bill says it's already 90 degrees. 3 days of heat advisories are starting today. And see, those people, they can't handle it there because it's so cold in the winter. They're used to more of a mild summer, right? It'll get humid, right? But it doesn't like get hot and humid. But today, they're having lots of fun there. No, thank you. Enjoy. Yeah. 94 degrees here. And we had it yesterday. Yesterday, our temperature gauge here was 106. I kid you not. The heat index was 122 degrees. It was, oh gosh, it was insane. No, it was Saturday because yesterday was a lot of thunderstorms. And so it was great. We got a cool day out of it. In fact, it's like only the second day since we've lived here in Florida in over a year that it was a cloudy and fairly rainy day. It's really nice to have that when it's been so stinking hot. Oh, Rodney, thank you for dropping the links. It's always good to see you, and I appreciate that. And Rodney, with an important thing, and Rodney, thank you for coming. I didn't get a chance to ask you, and I am really sorry I didn't. I owe you an apology. And it was, I've been worried what's going wrong, and so I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Gosh, please forgive me. No excuse. Wrong. Please, friends, some prayers for my daughter, who is undergoing operations again today. Oh, Rodney. Rodney, just go. Please. It's my fault. Please, tend to what you got to do. I'll take care of this. Bill and I've got it. Don't worry about a thing. We can handle this. Right now, that's much more important, please. Okay? Please. I'm asking you. Please. Rob says Jay Ferguson looked like a young Larry. You out of your mind?
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Yeah. JMB's back. Good to see you. He's going to be a technician licensee very, very shortly. You're going to pass that license. I'm putting another technician license up this week and another general license up this week. Both exams. We'll do that this week. Mike's here from Jacksonville. Good to see you, Mike, as always. Kilo Golf 2, Mike. Mike, one of the best DXers in the world right there. He's solid. He really, really is. So watch for him. He's very good. My good, it's been forever. Oh, man, this is great. Now, he used to come all the time. This is one of our viewers from the past, which I think is pretty cool. You know, because we don't get to see them come back a whole lot, which, you know, it's one of those things. This is Greg. He's in Welborn, Florida. And what an absolute treat it is to have you back here, Greg. Thank you. Seriously. Thank you for coming back. It's good to see you, man. How have you been? Things good? I hope things are good in your neck of the woods there in Florida as well. Really do, man. JMB says 8 years is far too long to look into things and then do something about it. Well, you know, for me, because like there was a comment that was placed by one of the angry hams in the box, and it was like, your video is late because it happened 8 years ago when the ARL did this, right? Well, I can't help it. Nobody on YouTube did a video on it, right? So I'm the first one to do it, and that's it. So,
That's my boy!
Yeah. What I mean to say is you're welcome. Sure. Anyway, so I was like, well, okay. And he says, and the fact that the FCC hasn't ruled on it tells you everything. I'm like, okay, no, yet. Hasn't ruled on it yet. And I said, just because they haven't ruled on it yet doesn't mean that they're not. Therefore, we're going to start something today, hopefully, that catches on. Not because I'm special, far from that, but because it's been too long. And I think everyone who is an amateur radio licensee should have the best interest of all of us here right now, you know, at heart, because 8 years is far too long. It's far too long in my mind. So I had the topic question quite a long time ago. Bill in Wisconsin, 8 years is ridiculous. I could see 1 year to investigate, maybe do a survey, etc. But 8 years is 7 years too long. There you go. Right there. Yeah. I mean, what's dumb? Here's what's dumb, okay? The FCC, we all paid that, right? That's our taxes. And, okay, don't ever go to a government employee and say, look, we pay your salary. That's the dumbest thing you can do because everybody feels that way. And they've heard it a million times. For them, it's white noise. So that's dumb. But the other thing is that, like, the American Radio Relay League is also ours here in the States. That's our group. Why aren't they doing something? I mean, there should be at least updates, right? Because what happened, here's what happened. It was submitted in February of 2018, and then the FCC asked for comments on it in 2018, and that's it. Nothing else has happened. There's been no update from the American Radio Relay League. There's been nothing from the FCC. Crickets. And that's not all right. It's not. It's totally unacceptable. There have been 3 presidential administrations here since 2018. That's almost like, I mean, that's a long time to rule on something that's this simple. Especially, maybe, just maybe, it's because they just can't figure out how to answer one of those things because the rules were put in place. The band plan was put in place in 1951. Now, there have been little tweaks here and there, but for the most part, it's the same. So maybe the FCC just doesn't know how to change stuff. I don't know.
Adios, you chicken-plucking little stinker!
Don't know. It's just the wildest thing. It's like, well, this is not my department. That goes down there to the third floor. We just can't do that.
Maybe that'll learn you to keep your big mouth shut.
What's wrong with them? 8 years? No update. Something's going on that we just don't know about.
It doesn't pay to court disaster, Robin.
Maybe. Kevin, welcome from Iowa, Kilo Zero Kilo Lima Bravo. He says, spent the weekend camping in the cornfield. It's just Kevin and his corn out there.
Well, hog gravy and chitlins.
Having a little fun. Had a great ham radio time. Bringing the camper home now and listening. Bless your heart. Kev, nice to see you. Happy Monday. Thanks for bringing us along for the ride, buddy. You're a good man. You are. Barry Wendon, always good to see you in the United Kingdom. Golf 6, Juliet Mike X-Ray, as always. JMB says there has been more cover about GMRS getting some lower bands than the techs getting some more space. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I can't answer that. I really can't. I mean, GMRS, here's the problem. The history of this, of the technician, okay, novice is different. The novice license, you had to know code. That was the deal. You were a Morse code guy. You at least did 5 words per minute. That was the entry level into ham radio. And that's when code was part of everything that got you a ham radio license, right? The technician was that deal with the first no code tech, 1991. And the novices who had basically the same band plan, right? The whole idea of the band plan, when they came up with it in 1951, was to give you, get this, no joke, this was for an experimental bit of work that they could do on UHF radio. That was it, no joke. In 1951, when that band plan was set up, the original one, it was about that. It was about, well, they're new and they're learning, and we'll give them some experimental ops there on UHF. And then they'll grow up and want to go in higher class. And a lot of those guys did, which is true. A lot of them grew up and they became, advanced, or they became general. They just licensed up. But then as time went on, they all of a sudden got just, 2 meters and 70 SEM. They got VHF, UHF. Everything was line of sight. Everything for the novice and for the technician, line of sight comms. That was it. It wasn't until 1991 that they got the 10-meter band allocation. That's when that little slot between 28.3 and 28.5 came to them. The first HF voice privilege that they ever had. 1991. Guess what, guys? This might shock you. That's been 35 years ago since they got the last HF allocation, and it's been 8 years since the FCC was petitioned on this. So I hope you'll maybe jump along with me on a little idea that I have later in the show. We'll talk about that, right? Because I think it's insanity. Anyway, let's go on. We'll do the weather. I do have all that set up. The weather is powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. SFIs are going to stabilize. We're not going to get anything that's going to jump up real big like we did a few weeks ago when all of a sudden we went in the stratosphere into SFI numbers over 200. We just don't have the sunspots back yet. That can help that happen. So we'll see what happens here. SFI 107. The sunspot number is 47, so that, getting what we can out of 47 sunspot number. A index is high because it was noisy yesterday. Okay, so the K index was higher yesterday. It's now come way down to very quiet to K1. BZ latitude, a little bit minus. There is QS Baker on the bands today. Solar winds coming down from the weekend as well. So we got quiet noise floors coming for the early part of this week. Magnetosphere view, here's that area coming in. That first circle there on the west limb, okay? That that area is looking to be maybe a sunspot region that's going to help us along. Otherwise, we're losing 4485, but those three should keep us fairly over 100 at least for the beginning part of this week. We'll have to see what's coming in on the western limb there. Maximum usable frequencies, you can take a look here from this really early shot of this. Look at how linear everything is right there. 20 meters perfect, goes all the way up to the Arctic Circle, and then you've got 17 and 15, and they're great in the Northern Hemisphere. Even 12. 12 is going to work you a little bit in the north if you're about 40 degrees north, and the 10-meter band is down to about 35 to 30 degrees, right in that area. Here's a closer look at the Northern Hemisphere today. Gives you an idea of just how far north 12 is and where the 10-meter band is. That 10-meter band, by the way, is purring right along there in the South Mediterranean Sea. Southern Hemisphere, same as it's been all summer long, as it usually is. They've got 20 through 10 meters down there. So good conditions to work your amateur and shortwave radio today. Your HF forecast for the ham bands, SFI stabilize, 6, 4, and 2 meter E-skip openings are still possible. Noise floors are quiet through Wednesday. Best DX in the north, 20, 17, and 15 meters. Best DX in the south, 20 to 10 meters. In the nighttime ham radio bands, the SFI stabilized, decent DX for tonight, quiet noise floors. Nighttime ham bands, 160 meters, 80, 60, 40, and 20. They'll be good to work nighttime into 20 meters. Should work you a few hours after sunset right now. Shortwave DXers, daytime shortwave, quiet noise floors, and good solar flux index numbers to make you some good DX out there. Noise floors are quiet, but we also have a little fading on the weak signal, so be careful for that. Noise floors, again, being quiet and having a reasonable SFI can bring you some really good shortwave around the world. Daytime shortwave bands 31 meters, 25, 22, 19, 15, the 13 meter band. Nighttime shortwave SFIs should stabilize plus or minus 10. Low level noise at times this week, but I think we'll have some fairly quiet noise floors to work shortwave nighttime. Nighttime shortwave bands from 120 meters all the way down to 19, and your top DX bands tonight, 90 meters, 75, 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, and 19 after dark is beautiful to enjoy. So enjoy shortwave DXing. Watch out for some QS Baker. That's from the ham radio lingo. That would be fading on those weak signals for shortwave. There's your forecast for the HF bands. Thanks for paying attention, gang. Okay. How do you feel about the FCC taking 8 years to reply to a rule change request? And I probably should modify this just a little bit, taking 8 years to reply to a rule change request, okay? I don't think they get a whole lot of these requests, so I don't know that they've got a lot of stuff on their desk to do that, but you'd think that maybe, just maybe, somebody's in a position to say, yeah, okay, we'll take care of that, or I'll get you an answer at the end of the week. 8 years is an awful long time. Let us know in the comment section how you feel about that, and we will make it part of the show. Whole thing happens to do, and it started off, this whole snowball started with JC Says on Friday. Here was his comment. Where I live, 2 meters and 70 centimeters are dead, both simplex and repeaters. All I have are HTs, and I'm ready to throw it all out after having my technician license for 6 weeks. Nobody on the air. I just don't see the point. I would agree. Look, I bought a GMRS radio, right? I got the license. I got the radio. And I've made 0 calls. Not 1, 0. Since I got the radio. So I kept the radio. Why? Because it's got weather on board, and I don't have a weather radio outside of that one. So, it'll give me the alert if there's something bad in the area, and I'll be updated to know, right? So having the weather radio on it was kind of important. So that's why we kept it. But if it was for communications, I wouldn't keep it. Why? What's the point of it, right? If it doesn't make calls, why have it? That's radio too. And that's why I understand completely with the technician feeling about, I worked to get my license, and I understand the other side of the coin. The technician side is I worked hard to get this license. I bought the radios that I was supposed to, and I'm not making any contacts. The repeaters are dead. Nobody's on these bands here. What's the point, right? And the other side of the coin is, okay, well, I studied for multiple licenses. I passed them after an awful lot of study. I've spent thousands of dollars on my equipment, and I don't think you should be given free bandwidth for doing nothing at all to earn it. There's the other side. So where's the line in the sand supposed to be between those two sides, right? We'll just get into this here real quick because this is really good. This is what the FCC essentially received from the American Radio Relay League. This is the first part of it. This was sent back in February of 2028. Okay, that's where this came from. It was February of 2018. Excuse me. That's where this was sent. So it was like February 12th of 2018. It was a document, formal document, and they received it. And the FCC asked for people to comment on it, and which is what they're supposed to do. So let's take a look real quick at the different license levels here in the States. Believe it or not, we've got 5 different levels of license here. We got novice, technician, general, advanced, and extra. Okay, so here they are. You can find this on the ARRL website, by the way, and this is updated. Look at this; it's right there through the 11th of July. Okay, so the final numbers are this. Remember, the first set is novice, so we're going to look at the second one, which is technician, and then go to the total, which is the far right. Okay, so 360,066 licensees have the technician license. There are 732,444 hams currently licensed here in the United States, right? The history for this basically the technician and novice, right? The first no-code technician license came in 1991, which granted full privileges. This is in 91. And so that's 35 years ago, granted full privileges on all bands with their line of sight. So everything above 30 megahertz, they gave you, here you go, have fun. Now, even in 1991, there were a lot more people alive who used 2 and 70 and upper level bands like that, right? Now, the technicians who did pass the 5-word per minute code test were designated as Technician Plus and gained access to the novice HF bands, which were 80, 40, and 20 meter Morse code. That was what they got. Nothing, didn't work ready, didn't work any other digital modes. It was CW only, right? So in 2007, the FCC completely eliminated the Morse code testing requirement for all of the license classes back on February 23, 2007. This was the last change to the band plan we had in this country. February 23, 2007. Consequently, all technician class licensees automatically gained permanent operating privileges in the traditional novice HF bands. So this is what they got. They got 80, 40, 15 Morse code plus 10 meters from 28.3 to 28.5. That's what they got, 2007. Okay. Look at the hams per 100,000 residents. This is basically per capita. That's what it comes. This comes from Kilo Golf 4 Oscar Charlie Mike. And this gives you an idea of where most of the hams per 100,000 residents are here in the country, right? And as you kind of screed through all this stuff, this is the technician license people. Most of them are in Utah, believe it or not, in terms of percentage, and most by number are in California. Of course, it's the most populous state. Now, for the general licensee, most of the northern states have those, along with Louisiana and Florida. Okay, so that's most generals, okay? When you go to the amateur extra, well, that kind of changes a little bit, doesn't it? A lot of the East Coast, in fact, all the way from Maine down to Florida are, for the most part, a lot of extras. Plus, you've got some there in Illinois and Mississippi, and you've got other places like Arizona there as well. So you've got like a lot of the destinations for retirement people in Florida and Arizona, and that's quite a bit for extras, right? Now, this map's not so much the same. This is counties and different areas, hams per 100,000 residents based on the counties and stuff. And I want to thank Kilo Golf 4 Oscar Charlie Mike for this, because a lot of work that he did to put into this. Now, the video I did was Saturday. It was a quick video I put up on YouTube, 7 minutes, 19 seconds long. Look at the views on this. 3.2 thousand, that's 3,200 views and counting. For me, that's a huge number. I don't ever get that many views because I do a long show and I play music and I do sound effects and I do all the stuff that a lot of people don't like, and I get that, and that's okay. This is a talk show about radio that goes long every time. It's okay. To be successful in YouTube, do it under 13 minutes. Make sure it's quick, it's clear, concise, and of value. That's it. Thankfully, enough people have found that, and I'm humbled by that. I've never received that kind of response from a video. I've been very impressed, and I'm honestly very grateful. Okay? Let's take a look at some comments. These are comments from people watching that 7 minute, 19 second video that shares about the information regarding the technician enhancement proposal that was done by the FCC. All right. Fixed Castles. I just got my tech ticket in June. I'm on 10 meter voice every day. I don't think so, because 10 meter voice hasn't been open every day in months. I'm on my allowed frequencies and have made one good contact in that time. I scan through all of 10 and 12 meters and I hear nothing. I turn on lower 38 CB band and it's a circus. Everyone is on CB. Any additional bands would be nice. I can understand hams wanting to safeguard their bands, but sharing is nice. I can talk on a local repeater on 2 meters and 70 SEMs, but it's not the same as DXing on HF. Making a long distance contact is so cool for me. Fixed Castles, I would say the general license is very attainable and you're close. I think it's the easiest of the three for me to pass. I would encourage you to study for it and pass it, because then you get 1,500 watts and you've got tons of HF and you'll make that DX. Oh, brother, are you going to make that DX? David Dahlgren said, or the technician could download an application program and study the question pool for a few weeks in order to obtain the knowledge to pass the general exam. Then they could seek out a club that gives the exam every month prior to their monthly meeting. The new general will walk out holding his head high. That's containing the knowledge to operate on his or her new band privileges and feeling good about his or her accomplishment. David's not wrong. I mean, you may not like how he worded it, but he's right. Milo Hoffman. For better or worse, digital is the new Morse code. Having a tech digital section on the HF band makes some sense now, just like allowing them a section for the old novice Morse code made sense in the past. That's when they merged the technician and the novice licenses together in 2007. Made sense in the past. I would be in favor of limiting it to 5 watts on that section of the band, though. Okay, so Milo says, cool with doing that, maximum 5 watts. Ambassador Earl, it all sounds great, but in my new to the hobby, ignorant technician opinion, he's already putting himself down in the first sentence. Don't do that. You passed a ham radio license. That's worth something. He said, it all sounds great, but in my ignorant technical opinion, it doesn't seem likely, seeing they just changed the question pool. Well, it's important to know there were only 27 different questions that were added to the pool, and those questions, a lot of them had to do with digital, because you should have it by now. No Mo FOMO said 2 meters has all but dried up in the past 15 years. He's right. In many places in our country, there's nothing on 2. Give the techs more voice, digital, and CW privileges. Many have no interest in the technical side of amateur radio. I have an advanced license. That's a great comment. It's a really well thought out comment, too. Jeff Kilo Echo 2, Echo Lima, India says, I think techs need more space and privileges, so many techs now just use personal nodes to hit DMR, All-Star, Wires X, etc., instead of doing more traditional radio to radio communications. Technician has become more of an internet-using license. Do you agree with that? And then he says this, and nobody likes this. Too many gatekeepers who want people to experience pain to use the bands. What a horrible thought. I hope we're never like that. I hope a lot of people don't feel that's us. Really. And then this one, this is the guy I told you about that was like, oh boy, he was pounding on that keyboard, man, just crazy.
When I say whoa,
Yeah.
I mean whoa.
Yeah, he says, if the FCC is doing that for the technician, why not give the advanced class the same privileges as the extra? Now, if I want the extra privileges, I have to take the advanced class over again, basically. Everyone says if I want more frequency, I have to take the higher class test. I think the technician need to do the same. I worked very hard for my advanced class and will not take the test over. The advanced is in a class of its own. He's pretty hot, right? Maybe he types all the time in caps. You never know, right? But you know, he's advanced, and he's talking about the difference between advanced and the amateur extra. That's really what he's saying. And if you look at the US band plan, there's kind of a reason for it. Here's like the big view, but let me try and get you a much better, easier to understand view of it, okay? There are places like on 40 where advanced and extra have the same bandwidth, right? But there are places like on 80 and 20 where they don't. And it's not a huge amount. It's like 25 kilohertz on 20 and like it's 100 kilohertz, I think, on 80. Let me look here at 80 real quick. Yeah, it's 100 on 80. So, okay, I get it. But, you know, I mean, there's only so much if you don't want to go up and take the license again because it's a personal issue, right? This is kind of one of those guys that's like, this is my personal feeling and doggone, I ain't wrong. Okay, you have a right to your opinion. Thank you. Silent Duvnul says, great news and information. I would have liked to have seen single sideband and digital modes on the work bands and all of 10 meters. I think giving more of 80 could be a good thing to help people want to upgrade. 20 meters for digital only. That way, if someone just wants to do FT8 or JS8 call, they can. Thanks to 73. Thank you. Appreciate the comment. Also, Jimmy Veteran. Jimmy was answering a whole bunch of people's comments and saying the same thing repeatedly. It's like he wanted everybody to be sold on his opinion, which is, I understand the frustration of 2 meters being underutilized. As an extra class licensee, I still enjoy the 2 meter band as well as the other bands. They made technician, and if they want HF privileges, they need to get their general license. And so what Jimmy did was when someone would say something similar to or maybe opposed to them, you know, like if they agreed with them getting more HF bands, he would oppose. And this happened quite a bit. So, Jimmy, thank you. We'll only read a couple more. Way back when, this is from Sprockter 1958, and this is a nice comment. Really. Way back when, I struggled with the Morse code requirement to get my tech license. Never managed CW, but no code got my foot in the door in 93. I was not entirely in agreement with no code for the same reason I am not in favor of full HF privileges for us techs. Now, but unlimited expansion to all of 10 meters, along with HF digital modes in addition to the CW portions we are currently allowed, makes sense to me. I don't want to see the rest of voice HF turn into the mess 11 meters did after it went to Citizens Band. Wow. That's quite a comment, really. Okay, going to throw in, these are short. Jim, we need more clubs offering classes for the general on a more regular basis. Thank you, Jim. Lewis, it's about time. So he's agreeing with the technicians getting more space. And Brad Meyer will make you last today because of time here. I live in Florida, so my bias is about emergency communication. The expanded bands allow me to reach out regionally should I need. For development in the craft, I really do not view this as a hobby. Amateur radio has shown itself to be very important in the disasters in North Carolina. This took technical knowledge and dedication, all hallmarks of professionalism. So no, I do not view amateur radio as a hobby. Brad, you've made that clear. So no, I do not view amateur radio as a hobby. You made that clear. Okay. Yes, I wholeheartedly support expansion of the bands. Had to read it twice because you made it clear, Brad. Thank you. Yeah. Last comment. I'm going to do this one here because this is interesting. Because he's kind of, listen to how he says this 813 patrol. My concern is not just that technicians are less experienced or knowledgeable, but that granting broad HF privileges without requiring that additional knowledge will absolutely increase poor operating practices and interference. As an AM operator who regularly uses 7.290 megs, I would be especially concerned about increased interference from inexperienced operators who may not understand existing band usage. AM bandwidth or informal operating conventions. Again, not hating, but being realistic. The general exam is not that much more difficult than the tech. I got them both at the same time when I was licensed. You know, I get it. I get both sides. Like I said, both sides of this are very clear, right? The people who had the license say, I went and earned it. You should too. The people who are kind of stuck are the people who are the technicians right now who live in places where 2 and 70 are dead, no one's on simplex, and they're just, why am I doing this, right? So what the FCC is considering for 8 years is that they'll give the top part of the 80 meter band 3.9 to 4 megahertz. They'll give 40 meters, the top of that, 7.2 to 7.3, and they'll give 15 meters, the top 100 of that, 21.350 to 21.450. Full disclosure, I don't know how well that'll work on 40 because there's a lot of people on 40 at night. 80 has its own things, okay? And maybe they'll learn some stuff that's positive there. On 15, it's the last band to die down at the bottom of a solar cycle, and it's the first HF band that really comes back at the beginning of the next one. All right. So my concern is like that 2-year to 4-year window when 15's dead and you can only work 20 and 17. I love the fact of giving them FT8 privileges and radio teletype privileges, letting them get ready and get moving on digital modes. That's a good thing. They can run to DXCCs, worked all states, worked all counties, all continents, all of that stuff. They can earn that. That's something that's good. That's a good thing. But the places they gave, even 15 meters, guys, if you've ever run DX on 15, no one's up at 350 to 450, hardly anybody. They're all down below 300. So it's like they're kind of throwing you in places where they'll not get in trouble. That's really it. How do you feel? If your governing body, Ofcom in the United Kingdom, whatever yours is in your country, outside of the States, if they took 8 years to reply to a rule change, hard to say that. If they took 8 years to reply, how would you feel? Put in the comment section, and we will make it part of today's show. Daniel, it's been a while. It's great to see you again. Thank you for coming back. He says, woohoo, lots of New Hampshire hams. Indeed. Indeed. And, you're welcome. It's nice. You know, I think what you said made me heartbroken, to be honest, because it's true. I mean, I get your side. I also get the other side. I do. I've seen, look, every one of these comments I've tried to reply to, all of them. Imagine there was like 130 some now, but I've tried to be nice and reply to everyone. The ones I don't agree with are the ones that come across as kind of sound angry. I just say, thanks for watching and for your comments. Best wishes, Larry, and my call sign. But, you know, I get both sides because I worked hard to pass my licenses. And I think most people would say to you fairly, you are already licensed in technician and you're so close to the general, but you don't know that right now because what's happened to you is you worked hard to pass your level of license and we gave you dead bands. Congratulations. Well done. Who would be happy with that? Nobody. So I get that part. I think the best way to do it would be to try and get the FCC to make a decision. You know, my grandfather used to say, blank or get off the pot. Okay? Yeah. Blank or get off the pot. Fill in the blank. 8 years is ridiculous. It's stupid. Nobody should be thinking 8 years for a governmental agency to make a decision on something this simple. That's ludicrous. 8 years is ludicrous. I believe they will rule. I believe there will be an answer because I believe still that people out there in government know they got to get the work done and they will eventually. 8 years though. Oh my gosh. What are they doing? JC, thank you. You're welcome. I'm grateful to be here and to help. Randy, thank you for watching. He's in Pensacola, Florida again, this time with air conditioning. Love that. Kilo Juliet 5 Papa Victor, watching from Dallas, Texas. Nice to have you. Thanks for coming. I'm Larry, Kilo 7 Hotel November. It's an honor to have you join us today. Thank you. How do you feel about that? If 30 meters, if the shortwave frequencies around 30 died up, right? And they said, and the American Radio Relay League petitioned the FCC and said, hey, we would like 100 kilohertz for voice between 10.2 and 10.3. Just guessing, right? Just trying to spitball. We'd like that for voice. And we want to give to our general and our extra class licensees. Please respectfully submitted to you on this day, ARRL, with love, whatever. But wouldn't you be interested in getting that answer back? Because that's 30. That's right there at 10. You might be able to work day and night on there all the time. It would be reliable. It could be a day and night band, the only one in ham radio, and the clock ticks for 8 years. I wouldn't want to wait for a year. I would be like, what are you doing? 8 years? I mean, just say no then. Or say, okay, after a lot of consideration, we don't want to give you 40, but we'll give you 80 and 15. Is that okay? Thank you. Then we got something back. But don't make it that we don't get an answer back because, I mean, the whole purpose of you doing this is to answer the submission. I think that's a bit too long to wait for anybody, personally. Anyway, what's your thoughts? Let us know. By the way, Harvey, thank you for joining us. Harvey's joining us today all the way from the beautiful area of Crandall, Texas. Welcome, Harvey. Good to see you. It's an honor. It truly is. Thank you for coming. It is getting dark now again, so we got thunderstorm coming, and I'm trying to adjust the video here. Sorry. We're here daily, 1730 UTC. We talk radio. This is the last day we're talking about this because I can't do another day of it. All right. Bill in Wisconsin had a QSO with an advanced class operator a few years back. He was happy with his privileges and kind of liked that he had a unique license class that wasn't available any longer. Yeah, people are proud. And why wouldn't they be, right? They earned the license too. Like if they took extra away today and they made, let's say, the super license, right? I mean, okay. I could wait. I'm good with being an extra. I don't need to be anything more. I'm happy. And by the way, Greg says, I can't imagine the newer, younger hams on 75, 80, or 40. The feud is that the younger ones label the older ones as old Sam hams that can only talk about health issues, religion, and politics. So what? Okay, there you go. See? So there might be a divide here based on perception too, right? So maybe some of the guys who've earned their licenses or, feel that, the techs aren't qualified because they don't know operating privileges, I guess the best way to put it. Like, for example, here's a really good worry that would be reasonable for someone like a general or an advanced or an amateur extra to have. You've been given in this proposal from 7.2 to 7.3 megahertz on the 40-meter band. There's a QSO out there that someone in another country is making at 7.298 megahertz. Can you accept the CQ call? Let's say that CQ call is in Antarctica, okay? Just for fun, just for giggles. 7.298 megs. You get from 7.2 to 7.3. Can you make the call? Now, a general and an extra, an advanced licensee, they know the answer like that. They do because they've worked it. But we have to understand, too, as advanced extras and generals, that we learned it from doing it. And you've got to eventually give these guys a chance to do it, even if you give them on a band that they can make mistakes with, I guess. I don't know. Can 80 in places be any worse? I mean, the only worry I have is we're technically giving them... Sorry, I said that wrong, didn't I? Pardon me. They've got 7.2 to 7.3. Oh, gosh, how embarrassing. And they get a CQ call at 7.22 megahertz. Can they? Sorry, 7.0. Wait. Sorry, the storm is really getting out of hand there. It's like hail sitting in the window. I apologize. They're on 40 meters. They get 7.2 to 7.3, right? And a call comes through at 7.201 megs. Can you answer the call? No, you can't, because you're on lower sideband. You start at 7.3 because then your signal goes from 7.3 to 7.2. Sorry, 7.0, was it 7.203 megahertz to 7.200 megahertz. So really, your band begins at 7.203. Boy, it's really coming down. All right. I mean, it is really, wow. It's the wind and everything, too. Like, it's not been like that when I've done the show here like this, not to this extent. Okay, another thing with that is if you were at 7, well, we'll just leave it there. I've already made a terrible, terrible job of doing that example. You've got to understand how the bands work is my point, right? If you're on lower side band, you can't break the band plan. Even though it might be a great idea because you want to make the call, you can't do it. And there might be generals and extras and advanced on the same frequency who can make the call. You can't make it right now as a technician, but if you license up to general, you can. There's your motivation to license up. But I think the technicians need to have some motivation to license up. And to get that motivation, they have to be able to make calls. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. Let's get to the Angry Hams, and then we'll do our trivia, and Larry will try and scurry out of here today on a Monday show.
On a scale of 1 to 10, we give it a 3.
Oh, well, maybe it wasn't that good. Let's give it a 1.
You gave him a 1?
He's never been better.
I know. I made some mistakes. All right. First question of 3, and I've got to get back to you. I promise, okay, I am not forgetting. I'm not trying to hold back on you today, on anybody today on the programs. Greg, I'll come back to you. I saw the second comment. I just was getting myself into a hole, and the weather started hitting the window pretty hard. Question 1, which of the following did Edwin Armstrong invent? Was it A, single sideband, B, FM, C, MCW, or D, PSK? A, B, C, or D? First one to get it right, we'll give you some love. Good luck, everybody. Yep. Edwin Armstrong. Here's an old-timey picture of Edwin. Boy, oh boy, boy, howdy. He's pointing right at that meter. I think he's pretty happy with the meter, actually. Kind of looks like he is. Like, hey, get a picture of this. The meter. By the way, Colin, that's continent number 3. Australia's in the house. Good to see you, Colin. Always a pleasure. Thanks for coming. It's a treat to have you today. First one, Greg, he's got B, and B would be FM, and FM is correct. Well done, my friend. That's 1. You're going to be 1 for 1. Greg, you're going to sweep. Mike did that Saturday. He got 3 in a row. Barry got that in UK. Bill got it as well. Mike got it here. That's the last guy to go 3 for 3 is Mike. Not many people have ever done that. Question 2. How long does it take particle emissions from a coronal mass ejection to reach the Earth? A is instantly, B is 16 minutes, C is 20 to 40 hours, D is 8 minutes. Coronal mass ejection, how long till it leaves the sun, till it reaches the Earth? A, B, C, or D? Good luck, guys. This one's, people could confuse this one. Randy. Stretch Armstrong. Boy. I got to tell you, I have a funny story about Stretch Armstrong. I get in trouble at a store with that. Daniel, he kind of looks like a kid whose parents are forcing him to get a picture with his science fair project. Boy, that kind of does look like that if you think about it. Here it is right here, Mom. Yeah, that's it right there. That's it right there. Take the picture. And back then, they didn't smile. Just didn't smile. Daniel, it's good to have you back. Thanks for coming. All right, Mike, first in. He's got D, 8 minutes. Coronal mass ejection, 8 minutes. No, that's not it. Greg, second up. He's got C, 20 to 40 hours. Greg is now 2 for 2. Look at this. Yeah. Here's where people get these confused. Coronal mass ejections are slower. Okay, they're slower moving particles. And because of that, it takes 20 to 40 hours to typically reach Earth. A solar flare is speed of light. It's super fast in terms of its emission reaching Earth. That's 8 minutes. So that's the one that C would be CME, 20 to 40 hours, and then a solar flare, about 8 minutes. By the way, Stian, welcome from Norway, Lima Alpha 5, Lima Tango Alpha. Happy Monday, my friend. Bill also with C. Barry with C. Collins got C. And there's Nerd Garage. Welcome back. It's great to have you. That's great. It's great to have you. Final question. The question of all is, can Greg go 3 for 3 and match Mike, who was the last one Saturday to do the feat? And before then, gosh, it's got to be a year since we had someone who was able to come in first with the right answer against everyone else 3 times. That's not easy to do. Last question. The conditional class ham license was A, the first no-code license, B, a learner's permit for hams that required no test at all, C, the same as general class but given by mail, D, the original name for the novice class. A, B, C, or D. We'll see if Greg can make the trifecta. Good luck. Yep. Conditional class ham license. And Mike had confused. Yeah, it's not, that's easy to confuse. CME it's kind of weird because CME is the one that takes longer than the solar flare. Yeah. Daniel, first in from New Hampshire, he has B, a learner's permit for hams that required no test at all. Nope, that's not it. JMB 905, second up, he's got D, the original name for the novice class. Nope, not it. Okay, here's Greg with a chance. He has C, the same as general class, but given by mail. Greg, 3 for 3. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Back-to-back shows, we had people go 3 for 3. Mike did it on Saturday's show, and Greg's done it today. Amazing. Yeah, it was the same as the general class, but they gave the test by mail instead of having you there, which is interesting. Bill was right on Greg's heels there. Mike had B, Colin had C, and Nerd never heard of it, but I would guess B with that one. It's all right. Stian had B. For you guys outside the States, that's pretty good. And he says, I read the one question wrong. It's not that hard to do, for sure. Greg, well done. 3 for 3. Get that lottery ticket quick. Really, that's amazing. Because again, you got to do those all together, right? You got to be able to get in first with the right answer. And there's the thunder. And here comes Jill. Jill, our dog. Oh man, guys, she hates it. She hates it. Today's topic question. How do you feel about the FCC taking 8 years to reply to a rule change? It's entirely too long. It's wrong. It should never happen. Now, for whatever reason, maybe COVID had something to do with that, right? Because that stopped everything and changed everything too. Maybe that's the problem, but 8 years is still an awful long time to wait. For sure. And Greg says that doesn't happen very often for me. Just ask my wife. Well, congrats. That's a pretty neat accomplishment, man, at this place. It's only happened 3 times. That's pretty rare. I would say it is too long, and I would say I have an idea, which probably won't work, but I hope it will because I believe in these guys. I believe everyone should have a chance to succeed. And I learned ham radio by doing it. I was just fortunate to get my licenses passed. So what I encourage you to do, if you do Facebook or Twitter, X, whatever it's called, all that stuff, right? Do this hashtag. Bring it to their attention. Our FCC pass RM11828. At FCC, hashtag pass. Make sure it's all one word though. Here I haven't done so well with that. So I apologize. So it would look like this. All right. At FCC, hashtag pass RM-11828. That's the rulemaking number for this proposal that they got 8 years ago. So there you go. My hope is that you're able to, maybe we can make a difference together. Because, here's how I look at this, and I may be the only one who is. If if one class of us is struggling and we should have some help, at least an answer, yes or no, right? We should all be asking for the same thing because we're all in this together. We're all licensed and we all deserve to stand up for each other. Whether we agree with what they get or not, just give us an answer. It's worth that, right? If you'd like to get your ham license, the Radio Society of Great Britain would love to help you do so. Contact the RSGB at www.rsgb.org. Make sure and let them know where you're living because that's the most important thing. You want a ham club near you to come help you, right? www.rsgb.org. They'll send that local ham club in an email to you. Then contact the ham club. They will help you get licensed. www.rsgb.org. Great people, the Radio Society of Great Britain. Barry Wendon, thank you for the kind words. Colin, glad the FCC have nothing to do with our ham tickets. By the sound, there you go. 8 years is a long time. Stan got his driver's license in the mail. There you go. And I want to get to these two comments because they are important. And this was done with this question. There's a few people here that I want to get to that I think are just as important as everyone we read. Hold on. Let me get to it. Here we go. All right. Greg, here in Florida, we have SARNet on 440 linked statewide and directly to the Emergency Operations Center during emergencies. It saved us during a flash flood of our home during Hurricane Debbie on an HT. Right there. The importance of it all. And by the way, VHF, UHF. Greg, thank you. Good comment. It's a good comment on the UHF band. Randall, that SARNet is a good thing. I wish we had that in the Chicagoland area for tornadoes. Yeah, I worry about what's going on outside here. Greg, that flood is why I have been missing from the Ham Radio live show for a while. We were displaced for over 10 months. And then here recently, my entire station was hit by an electromagnetic pulse. Oh, man. Again, just disconnect. Greg, I'm sorry to hear that. Glad you're back. And JC, I'm 7 out of 10 supplements through my general license study. Great news. That's great news. That's how you get licensed. Hold on. Come on. Oh. This dog is a house. She weighs about 25 pounds. Jill. She is terrified of the noise. So, okay. So yeah, JC, keep studying. The general license is your best friend and you will pass that. It's very similar to the tech. If you pass the technician, you can do the general. You can. Hams have been doing it for decades. And they've been making DX calls after that a lot longer. You'll do well. You will. It's like world football. JMB, the one band you have not brought up is tech, has 6 meters as well. Again, it's VHF though. It's lower than 2 meters, but the thing with 6, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Excuse me, guys. Thing about 6 meters, it's really open the peak of summer, like right when summer starts in that area, like mid-May through mid-July, like we're through now. And it goes, then it goes away, and then it comes back again at the dead of winter for a shorter period of time. But E-Skip on 6 is available for sure. Yeah, but it's not common, JMB. It's only a seasonal thing. Bill, do you think that it would help if we mailed a letter to the ARL regarding their proposal? Is there something we can do to help push this along? Absolutely. Anything helps. I think whenever we hold people accountable, they will work at being accountable. Dr. JMB mentioned just 6 meters. I plan to check it out after seeing a couple of videos about this weekend. 6 meters fun. It really is. Greg, maybe a bit of 10 and 30, but I'm reluctant to water down the license requirements any further. Most people just memorize the answers today anyway. That's why I said, guys, it's okay, honey. It's all right. You learn to pass the ham test and then you learn ham radio. And we all have been through it. As painful as it might seem to pass these tests, we've all had to do that. And it's kind of part of what you have to do to be able to do this wonderful thing. And when you start making those DX calls worldwide, man, it's really special. It really is. You mentioned, just mentioned 6 meters plan. Check it out after seeing. Oh, I'm sorry. You said that twice. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I read that twice. Pardon me. Daniel says, I think we need to attract more new hams and increase in tech privileges will bring people in and hook them, especially if the small part of HF they get is crowded with other techs. Here's the thing. Unless this proposal or something like it is accepted, I think the future of technician is limited. I just do, because there's so many places in our country where 2 and 70 are just dead. They're not making many calls, if any. And then you go and you spend the time to pass, you buy the gear, no, nothing's working, you're not making calls. You're not likely to license up then, because it's like this guy said last week, JC said, what's the point? I've already invested. It didn't work. Makes sense. I get that side of it. So it makes sense. And also, Daniel, gatekeeping will keep the hobby stagnant at best, killing it at worst. Absolutely. Colin, don't try 7.2 to 7.3 if calling VK. Yep, we talked about that on Saturday. We are all below 7.2 at our nighttime. It's full of broadcast stations above 7.2. Yeah. They can work New Zealand, but not Australia. Jeff in Sherwood, Oregon. Besides the crotchety hams blowing steam, allowing techs more HF would invigorate license numbers and radio manufacturers would make bank. Yes, that's a big deal. That was one of the comments I didn't read you. It was a great comment about not only the radio manufacturers, but the ham radio stores too. If you give them a slice to use, you've opened up a market for people to sell stuff now. Because guess what? The next license is HF. They've already got everything above 30, so they don't need those radios. They need the radios below 30. Oh man, you give them 80, maybe something else. Who knows? You might do well with that. Love the comment. I think there's a lot of good to it too. Greg, our hobby isn't dying. Over 60K new licensed operators since 2024 to today is a vast increase. The only problem though, Greg, is how many of those people are sticking with it, right? Because there's a lot of areas in our country where 2 and 70 are dead. Where I moved from in Oregon, it was dead. It wasn't that busy at 2 and 70, but on 2 and 70 here, it's on fire. There's so many people on here. It's like all the people moved here that used to use 2 and 70 everywhere else. It's just a different world. Yeah, just different. Congratulations to Greg for getting 3 in a row. Good to see you too, buddy. Thank you for coming. God bless you too, brother. And this is, I think, the comment everyone needs to remember. It's okay to respectfully agree to disagree. Respectfully. We can all have different opinions. That's still okay to do, guys. We don't have to be right all the time. We can still be friends. It's a good thing. I want to thank Brad here. He did great. He said, did a lot of reading after I passed my tech, built a bunk of antennas and threw away a bunch. There you go. There you go. Good for you. Hang in there, Brad. You're going to make some great calls. You really are. It's tough in this country that we have a class that maybe shouldn't exist. To be honest, I think we should maybe do 2 license classes, general and extra, which would be extra, advanced, and general. Why? Because we shouldn't be giving people any bands that people just aren't on in a lot of places in our country. 2 and 70 are not as big as they used to be. They're used for stuff like, you can do the space shuttle, the space station. You can do a lot of packet. You can do an awful lot of stuff on 2 and 70 that's fun. You can make the satellite calls, all that stuff. But in terms of if you want to work other countries in DX, you got to invest to the second level license. The UK has it right. We may not like that in this country, but they have it right. You know, their base license level gives you HF. It just does so at 25 watts. Learn to build more efficient antennas. 25 watts doesn't have to be 25 watts. You can give it gain, and then it's a pretty strong signal. Think it over. Wherever you may be. My name's Larry Dio. My call sign in ham radio is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Hello, Andy Cali. It's good to see you. Brandon Meyer, I live in Florida. 2 meter and 70 cent lights up in the midst of a hurricane. Yes, it sure does. And last word is from Andy Cali in Australia. He deserves it. It's the middle of the night there. Sounds like your techs need HF like our foundation do in Australia and the UK. Just a lot lower power than your techs have. 200 watts on every HF band. Yeah. Give them some HF, but let them learn a little bit at, lower power levels. I mean, that's what the UK did. They've done well with it. And they've got growing numbers still, too, which is good. I'm going to have to close quick, guys. My name's Larry Dio. My call sign in ham radio is Kilo 7 Hotel November. It has been a treat to be here today with all of you guys. Thank you so much for coming to Ham Radio Live. Wherever you may be, God bless you. Goodbye, everybody.
We's love, hot pools, rugby balls, McDonald's, snapper schools, quilties, woolly fish, Ronald and raisin beasts, chili bins, cricket wins, sparskies, golf tees, silver ferns, carry trees, kiwi burger, love one please.
With a slice of Wattie's beetroot, 100% pure beef patty and an egg from Farmer Brown, it's the original Kiwi burger.
Swan rice, butterflies, mustard, fishing flies, hokey pokey, Murray hugger, Kiwi burger, that's our tucker. La 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 la.
This is the Voice of America, Washington, D.C., signing off.
That's all, folks.